It's Women's History Month. Every Wednesday in March, I'll be featuring the story of an exceptional woman in the Kansas City area who's done a lot. My guest this morning, women on the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department stand on her shoulders. Sheila Lenoir is the first female firefighter on the KCK Fire Department. Welcome to the show, Miss Sheila.
Thank you for the opportunity.
When you hear me say that the women who are on the force right now stand on your shoulders, how does that make you feel?
Wow, an accomplishment. Something that I didn't expect, really, because me going into it, I wasn't thinking about
making history.
Right. That was not my thought. I was thinking about my children because I had two when I started there. Started there as a clerk typist at 23 years old, and I worked in administrations. So I was the first African-American they put in administrations as well. I used to do payroll, and I would send checks out to the stations, to the firefighters. So like, I want a check like theirs.
I know that's right, girl.
How am I going to get a check like theirs, to take care of my kids? And so I thought about being a firefighter. That was the only thing I could do because I went as far as I could go in administrations as a clerk typist, office 1, 2, and 3. So I was like, okay, so now it's time for me to make a change, do something different so I can take care of my children. So I used to go to different conferences and see other women in fire service in different states, right? And so I said, well, I can do that. If they can do it, I can do it. And so that was my beginning. And I went to, he was a driver then, Granville O'Neill, and I went to him and told him I wanted to be a firefighter. And he said, are you sure? And I was like, well, yeah. He started working out with me. And when I tell you I couldn't even do a push-up or a sit-up, it was so funny. So he worked out with me he said in the interview, that was not the correct time. So he worked out with me like 8 months to a year, somewhere in there, when it was time for me to take my first test, I was doing 50 and 60 push-ups and sit-ups less than a minute.
Wow.
So I worked out really, really hard. I was bench pressing 130 at weighing 168 pounds. So I made firefighter when I was 31 years old.
You're a small-statured woman. You're not tall. The love of a mother will make you think you could lift up a truck. So,
I mean, for real.
You got it in your mind. I'm going to be a firefighter so I can make enough money to provide for my children.
And also, something was to happen to them, I'm sure I would be still hysterical, but at least I would have an idea of what to do. I use that as my platform to become a firefighter, not the aftermath that came with it. That's not what I was thinking about. I was just thinking about the kids and my finances.
Talking with Sheila Lenoir, the very first female firefighter on the KCK Fire Department. We talked in the last break a little bit about what motivated you to decide to become a firefighter, and that's basically the love of your children and wanting to provide for them.
That's correct.
You talked about not really being physically fit to do the job. You worked out really hard. Then it was time to take the test. What was that like?
Ooh, first it was a written test, and I got through that. It was kind of complicated, especially when it asked you a question about how many trees are in the forest. I was really stuck on that one. But it had
I don't know what that answer is. What is it?
I don't remember, but I did get through it. So it was really complicated, After the written, then you had your agility test to do, and then we had where you had to do your run. So all my training, I couldn't do a chin-up. None. And I had to do it overhand, like the men, not underhand, like women. So I had to do it overhand. So when it was time to do the test, I did 3. Even though I was supposed to do 7.
Well, you did it, girl.
I did 3. And that was the only 0 that I got throughout the whole day.
Wow.
Yeah. I knew that I could pass all the required testing before I took it because I practiced at home. Yeah. I was hoisting Army bags out my window, 2nd story, just to make sure I could do it in the time that was required. Starting out, it was 11 ladies that took the written part. I believe after that, it was like 5. When we took the run, you had to do your run and your push-ups and your chin-ups and your sit-ups and your bench pressing. After that, I was by myself.
Miss Sheila, have you always been this type of person who makes up in their mind something they want to do and just goes face first into it?
I have to.
Wow.
Yeah. After we did that part of the testing, then you had to go walk up the aerial. You had to walk all the way up to the top, lock yourself in, and lean back with all your turnout gear on. There was so many people out on the ground, like it was a parade.
People just watching.
Yeah, it was people there that would try to intimidate me, where I would not pass. Then here come the complications, because I put my application in 88. I didn't make firefighter till 92.
Wow.
And I think that was probably like the third class that they picked from that same list that I was on. They moved 20 guys ahead of me with veterans preference, but I still was in the top 40.
Okay.
Out of 138
Talk
applicants.
your stuff.
I'm just saying. So
Did you have a lot of support from your family?
Family, And I had a lot of support from some of the guys as well.
Okay.
Some.
First day you're on the job, what was it like?
Now, mind you, I knew a lot of the guys already from working in administration. My first home was number 19. It was on 81st and Leavenworth Road. It was different. It was amazing. They gave me my own mailbox because I started getting mail from everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. The first day was pretty interesting. Just the different, mail and different attention, coming from the public. I still learned a lot from there. People are cruel. People can be cruel. Kind of like it was an eye-opener, but I made it through. My first week there, somebody broke in my home. I can remember when I was going through training, different harassing phone calls. It never dawned on me that it was going to be to this magnitude. But being in the house with the men was not as bad, just for the simple fact that I knew some of them, or if not all of them already. And then my next home was hazmat. I was on a hazardous materials team. That was on 62nd Estate. And so I was there the rest of my career until I went back inside as a fire inspector. Now, mind you, my goal was not to be on the back end of a truck for 20 years. My goal was to be on the truck long enough to stay alive to get back inside, because that was my goal from the beginning. It was not my dream to be a firefighter and, put out fire. It was a way of me providing for my children.
What do you dream about now, Miss Sheila? It's not over for you. I can tell.
Sure.
Girl,
no, it's not. It's not. Don't count me out. I'm working on my book. That's my next goal. But I still like to do something. That's why I probably still, I work a part-time job.
I know you're writing the book, and please finish that. But this is a movie.
As
you were talking, God already put that in my spirit, that this is the movie and that this is going to be huge. Let's say there's a woman in her car right now on her way to dropping her kids off at school. She's working a job where she's not making a lot of money. Would you suggest a career in firefighting for her?
Oh, yeah. It's a good job. My salary tripled from administrations to firefighting. And when I retired, I was making like $77,900 a year. So to me, if I was still there, oh my God, where would I be now?
Right.
So it not only teaches you financially, but it gives you platform to grow. I advise all, just not women, but all.
I saw the piece that KCTV5 did on you, and I said, I've got to have you on this show, especially because it's Women's History Month, and we've got to illuminate the good things that women have done in this city. The men, they're in the forefront, but there are women that have been holding up this city for years, and you're one of them. Thank you for sharing your story with us this morning.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, we're going to take some pictures so I can show everybody. She's short and she's tiny. She's so cute. It's the Shay Morning Show on Power 105.1.